Hey, what are you up to?
Oh, hi. I'm listening to this awesome podcast.
Ooh, I love finding awesome new podcasts. What is it about?
Well, it's about a bunch of things. Sometimes history, sometimes hauntings, sometimes it's spooky, and sometimes it's funny, but it's always interesting.
Ooh, okay, that sounds great. What's special about it?
Well, each week, Celine picks a topic and reads it, and
Wait, what?
Matt creates a pairing of a treat and a drink to go with this peculiar tale.
Wait.
And they
What?
talk about it, and they joke about it.
Hold on.
And sometimes they have guests and have even more fun.
Wait a second.
What? What?
That's our podcast.
Yeah, you're right.
Why are you listening to our podcast?
Well, you know, we're heading into the long dark of winter, and that can make some people feel kind of isolated, and listening to Peculiar Pairings is a great way to feel like you're hanging out with good friends at the push of a button.
Well, that actually sounds really nice. Kind of sounds like everyone should be listening to Peculiar Pairings.
You know, I couldn't agree more.
So if this sounds like it's piqued your interest, you should search Peculiar Pairings podcast on your favorite podcasting platform today.
Yeah, we're everywhere. Come check it out.
Find us. We're there.
Welcome to the What the Fuck Is That podcast, where we ask the age-old question of what the fuck is that? I'm your host, Jess.
I'm Jen.
I am so fucking full right now, like it hurts to breathe and sit here.
That's a good thing.
I mean, yes but no, but yes but no.
Yes, but no.
But yes but no.
Also, did you hit your finger on the window?
A little bit. So we always give a clap in before we start, and I am sitting right next to a window, and I may or may not have hit the window a little bit when I was clapping. Anyways, back to my stomach.
She 100% did.
Our tradition is also when we record, for whatever reason, I don't know why we started this, probably just because we're obsessed with Wingstop, but
Probably.
but 9 times out of 10, if we are recording or doing podcast work and we order in for dinner, it's Wingstop. Unless we're having like a really weird random craving, it's probably going to be Wingstop. So Wingstop should just at this point sponsor us.
Stop.
We have a specific meal that we get every time. Because we are creatures of habit.
Well, I'm autistic, so...
And I just like yum-yums. And I found the yum-yum that works for me, and it works.
There you go. You
10
know,
out of 10.
we do at times have, like, hyperfixation foods.
That's true.
So...
We don't have one right now, but I feel like it's coming.
Yeah.
Watch us get on another bagel kick.
Probably.
We get on that
No.
at least once a year.
You know what I got on?
What?
For a little bit, for a couple weeks. I ended up asking the in-laws to grab me some of the wheat bread that I like,
Okay.
right? And so they did, and I make my weekly sandwiches for lunch
Yeah.
because I would have class get out so late that by the time I got to work, the kitchen would be closing. So it was just easier for me to like scarf down a sandwich on my drive over.
And saves money. Like,
Exactly.
win-win.
Exactly. So I would make those, and then I had obviously like the leftover loaf of bread.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know what got into my head about doing this, but I would toast it, like make toast.
Okay.
But I would put the cream cheese instead of like butter.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I'm like, I like this so much right now. Like I would eat 1 or 2 pieces every single night for I think like 2 weeks straight, something like that.
Well, and then it's better than a bagel because it's less bread.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's still a little bit of protein because cream cheese has a little bit of protein in it.
And it's also wheat bread, which is healthier for you.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah.
10 out of 10. Love that for you.
Yeah, that was like a little hyperfixation snack for a little bit. I think it's still there, but I haven't wanted it in a couple of days, so we'll see.
Watch, now that you've talked about it, it's going to come back around.
Probably. Oh, no, another one is, so you're going to think this is weird.
I think everything about you is weird, but please go on and tell me why this one particular thing is weird.
So, okay, it's going to need an explanation, but...
My favorite thing. Okay, go ahead.
Getting the potato chips.
Okay.
And it can either be like Lay's potato chips or the Ridges.
Not particular. Okay.
Yeah, it could be like either ruffled or, smooth Lay's.
She likes it with or without Ridges.
I hate you. Anyways, and cheese. So like, the in-laws have also been getting like these little cheese sticks for the kids and for me also because I eat those.
Not the type of cheese that I thought you were gonna say, but go on, I guess.
I don't know what kind of cheese.
I thought you were gonna go with nacho cheese, which I think would be less weird.
No.
And then you said cheese stick. I'm like, okay, you had me, then you lost me.
But I'll like break pieces off of it and like stick it onto the chip and then eat the cheese and the chip at the same time. That's also become a new hyperfixation snack. And the reason I do this, okay?
Go on.
The reason I do this is because I have a very specific and vivid memory of when I was like 4 or 5 years old at my aunt's house with my 2 cousins. But they developed this particular snack of the cheese and potato chips.
Oh my gosh.
And I remember watching, I don't know if it was Star Wars or it was something wrestling or WWE or I don't know. It was something like that.
2 very different things.
I know.
Those are 2 very... You said them like they're similar.
No,
I thought you were going to say like it was like Star Wars or Star Trek, and then you went Star Wars WWE. I'm like, what?
Because those were like the 2 things that they would watch.
Okay.
And I wasn't allowed to watch wrestling growing up.
You're an only child. Who did your parents think you were going to wrestle with? Like, why did they think that was going to be
to be fair, my cousins and I did wrestle when we were at the house, so...
Fair, but still.
Fair, but anyways, so yeah, I wasn't allowed to watch wrestling as a child. But I remember that it was one of those specific TV things, okay?
A show.
I mean, one's a movie, one's a show.
Anyways.
But I have that specific memory of them doing that. And so that's the reason why I do that to this day.
Okay, I mean, I guess.
So,
it still sounds awful. Like, that is a snack born out of necessity.
We were poor.
I mean, yeah, that's what my, like, go-to little comfort snack when I need to feel like a kid again is I take a piece of toast and a slice of cheddar cheese, and it has to be cheddar cheese, and then you put it in the broiler for a little bit, and you put a little salt on it. That's the whole snack. I've also been craving sourdough toast. It's essentially a tomato sandwich, but sourdough toast, toasted. I guess toast is toasted, but whatever. A little bit of mayo. And then, like, not thinly sliced, but just, like, a little bit over thinly sliced. You don't want them too thick, because then you just get juices all over your face, and no one likes that. But you also don't want them too thin, because then it just feels like a sad sandwich.
What are you cutting?
Tomatoes.
There you go.
I said a tomato sandwich, bitch.
I know, but...
What else would I be putting in a tomato sandwich?
I don't know, man.
You just slightly cut the tomatoes. It's better when it's tomato season and you have somebody who grows tomatoes because, oh my God, fresh tomatoes and just a tomato sandwich.
I don't like tomatoes.
You're entitled to your wrong opinion. Well, if you like whatever the fuck this is, be sure to head over to our Instagram. Our Instagram is WTF is that pod. Over there, not only can you find all of our beautiful little photo pictures, you can also find the link to our link tree. Our link tree can take you to all the places to listen to our beautiful voices. It can take you to our Amazon wish list. It can take you to all of our different social media platforms. And it can take you to our Patreon, which if you subscribe, you get all this fun bonus content and get to talk to us more often. As always, the very best way to help us grow is just giving us a like and review, because now we are on Apple Podcasts, so you can leave us reviews, so please do so. It also extremely helps us just by you, word of mouth, telling people about the podcast. So say you're growing tomatoes in your yard and you're getting ready a couple of baskets just to give out to your neighbors, and you are putting those together and you're listening to WTF is that, and you're walking over and you go, "Hi neighbor, I have some tomatoes for you." And they go, "Oh my God, thank you so much neighbor. What are you listening to in your little headphones there?" And you go, "I am listening to these amazing, spooky, hilarious bitches on WTF is that pod." And they're like, "Oh my gosh, I haven't heard of that." And you go, "Oh, they're so good." And you share our socials and all the places to find us. And then they go and tell their neighbors, like maybe they grow eggplants in their backyard, and then they're going to take eggplants to another neighbor, and then they tell their neighbor. And it's just like, A, community gardens are great, and B, then all of these neighbors know about WTF is that, and you can create a great group chat where you can talk about all the hilarity that goes on here. And with that, let's get into this episode.
Hey, Jess.
Hey, Jen.
Have you ever heard of the Zodiac Killer?
Who the fuck is the Zodiac Killer?
I'd love to tell you.
Oh, yay. Yay, 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 yay.
All right, so how much do you actually know about this case?
Not too much. One of my hyperfixations recently, since I have recently got a desk job, is BuzzFeed Unsolved. And they did, it was only like 20 minutes. It was just a short little thing. They did a thing on the Zodiac Killer. So I know he was kind of rough, and he's been seen a couple of times, but never actually caught.
Yeah.
And may or may not have copycat killers.
Yes. So, yeah, like you said, the Zodiac Killer is a killer who terrorized Northern California in the late 1960s and early 70s. He is most infamously known for horrific murders and odd letters sent not only to the police, but to the media as well.
These killers who were going on in the 70s, they loved to send a letter. They fucking loved a letter.
Yeah, they love to taunt.
They're like, let's just see how far we can take it. It's like the murdering wasn't enough. You just also had to work on your penmanship skills.
Basically, yeah. So we're going to go through like a step-by-step timeline.
Okay.
Okay. Just a trigger warning. These murders are very horrific, very bloody. So if that's not something for you, then we will see you at the end of this episode if you want to stay for the disturbing fact. But
Kate, love you. Bye.
Yeah.
You get an early bye. Bye.
So I'm gonna start out with where it took place and the date, and then like go through the case that happened.
Beauteous.
All right, so let's get started. Our first one is in Santa Barbara, and this took place June 4th, 1963. Seniors at Lompoc High School in Santa Barbara County, Robert Domingos and his fiancée, Linda Edwards, decided...
Excuse me.
Yeah, I know.
Pause.
Yeah.
You said seniors in high school and Beyonce, and those words are not copacetic with each other.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it was the 60s, but still. No.
Yeah. So.
And at least they're both in high school. I feel like we've
Yeah.
had so many stories recently where it's like, she's 18 and he is 52. And it's like, what?
Yeah. It's like, what?
Hold on, pause, reverse that. Tell me their ages again.
I just think of that, like, minion from Despicable Me.
Dabba boy?
Uh,
Dabba
no.
boy?
What?
We do minion voices way too much to each other.
We really do. It's concerning.
Dabba boy?
It
Ah, dabba boy.
boy.
Ah.
Oh, God. Okay. So, yeah, fiance, Linda Edwards, decided to use their senior skip day to go to the beach near, I don't know how to say this, Gavita
Sure.
State Park. I
Sure,
don't know.
that sounds right to me. Why not?
Okay,
Fuck
great.
it.
When the two didn't return by the next day, Robert's father went to the beach looking for them. Robert's father discovered the teenagers' bodies lying together inside the remains of a crumbling shack. The two were bound with rope and apparently tried to escape. Both were shot and killed by a .22 caliber weapon. Robert was shot 11 times while Linda had been shot 9 times.
Jesus, okay.
Yeah.
We are just gonna make sure that they are really, 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 really dead.
Can we say overkill?
That's a little much.
Yeah.
Especially with a gun. Like,
Oh, trust me, it just gets worse.
it feels like it's one thing if it's a stabbing and it's that many times. But to shoot and pull a trigger that many times, that
get
just
there.
feels like a for sport at that point.
Oh, we'll get there. The bodies were dragged into the shack where the killer attempted to light a fire but ultimately failed. There were a few leads, but in 1972, the sheriff's department announced the case was possibly linked to the Zodiac due to the ammunition used in cases that happened after the 1963 murder.
Okay, so this is theoretically his first murder.
Yes,
Okay.
theoretically. Or at least the first one that's documented.
What we believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My nose is really itchy.
You sorry?
So our next murder happens in Riverside on October 30th, 1966. 18-year-old Cherry Josephine Jo Bates was a student at Riverside City College. On October 30th, 1966, Cherry Jo left her dad a note reading, "Dad went to the RCC library." The next morning, her VW Beetle was found abandoned in the library parking lot.
She was just trying to be a good student, and this happens.
She was 18. She was just a baby.
So far it seems like there is a consistent thing with age.
Yeah. There's going to be a couple outliers, but yes.
But for the most part, stop it. You shut the fuck up. Get the fuck out of my head. Get out of here, you spooky bitch.
Oh, fuck. Okay. It's going to be that kind of night, huh? Her body was found lying between two houses. She had been stabbed several times and her throat was slashed.
Which feels so different from the other one, even though they're supposed to be the same murderer. I feel like it's one thing to shoot someone several times after taking them and binding them up somewhere. Mm-hmm. But it's something completely different to stab and slit a throat because you have to have that upfront contact.
I mean, apparently it can be done. Like, it can be something that is common with a serial killer, but I just don't know how they make that switch in their brain. Like, is it out of convenience? Was, like, one plan to be a gun and one plan to be a knife? Like, you know?
And so quickly, too. I feel like a lot of the times when we see they change their MO, it's a slow and gradual change.
Yeah.
And they're adjusting for different things. It's just odd to me to go from binding and a gun to then stabbing and slitting a throat.
Yeah. I don't know. So I'm actually going to talk about it later, but some of the police still don't believe that Cherry Jo Bates was actually a victim of the Zodiac. But
I believe that.
But we'll get to why.
Okay.
Why not?
So far from just the way that the killing was done, I don't think that she was. But you can tell me more details later.
Yeah. We're getting there. You're getting ahead of me. As always. Police found a Timex watch, a print from a military boot, and some hairs and dried blood on the victim at the crime scene. Autopsy revealed no sexual assault. A month after the murder, the police and a local newspaper received a typewritten letter titled The Confession from an anonymous author claiming to be the killer. The killer wrote in this letter, "Miss Bates was stupid. She went to the slaughter like a lamb," and made sure to add, "I am not sick. I am insane."
Ooh, yeah, guys.
Why? Why do you have to say that word?
Because we're going to get some pre-order merch. Look for that link soon.
No.
But yeah, I don't care for that. I don't like the idea of the lamb thing. I don't like any of it. It's all no thank you. No bueno.
Oh, just wait. In April of 1967, the newspaper, the police, and Joseph Bates, Cherry Jo's dad, all received nearly an identical handwritten letter that stated, "Bates had to die. There will be more."
Ew. And to send it to the family, it's like, no.
Yeah. Awful. The notes were signed with the symbol that resembled the letter Z. In 1969, Riverside Police contacted investigators in Northern California about the similarities between the Zodiac cases and Cherry Jo's case. When it was revealed the police made this connection, the Zodiac sent another letter to the LA Times. The Zodiac wrote, "I do have to give them credit for stumbling across my Riverside activity, but they are only finding the easy ones. There are hell of a lot more down there."
Oh no. Oh no.
Yep.
Which again goes for the theory of the couple was not his first victims.
Mm-hmm.
They are just the first real documented ones.
Yeah. I have a feeling because for some reason I am very fascinated by serial killers.
I mean, fair, they're fascinating.
I've done a lot of psychological research. I've heard a lot of things. But I think it's very possible that some of his early victims were runaways or prostitutes.
The people who are quote unquote less dead, people that will not be looked for, that will not be reported to police.
Exactly.
Or if they do get reported, are just brushed off.
Yeah. And so I have a feeling that that's how he got started.
I wouldn't be surprised because I know a lot of serial killers will start that way.
Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. Like we said, that's just the first case that we're connecting to him, to, the second one. However, in the late 90s, Riverside Police rejected the Zodiac connection theory and focused on a jilted former lover of Cherry Jo's. Police obtained a DNA sample of the man to compare against the DNA found in 1966. However, the DNA didn't match, and the suspect denied any involvement in the murder.
So they tested the DNA in the 60s and it didn't match?
Yeah, so...
Which, how great could that testing really be?
Oh, no. This was tested in the 90s.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah, no, this was in the 90s when they focused on this one suspect and they took the DNA from the 1966 murder.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
But that would also make sense to me also that they would assume that it was an ex-lover because it is a stabbing and you find that stabbing cases usually happen in cases where there is like a personal vendetta against the victim because there's so much rage that has to go into that act.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Police and people are like 50-50 on that case.
I don't feel like that's a Zodiac one. It just feels off to me.
I don't know. So, the third documented case we're going to talk about is Benicia. Am I saying that right?
That sounds right to me.
Okay. This is all in California. I'm not from California, so sorry if I butcher it. On December 20th, 1968. High school students Betty Lou Jensen and David Faraday were on their first official date together. Faraday had promised Jensen's parents he'd have Jensen back home by 11 p.m. that night. However, shortly after 11, passing cars saw Faraday's car parked at a Lover's Lane spot along Lake Herman Road.
Ooh, ooh.
Moments later, another passing car noticed the lifeless bodies on the side of the road.
Oh no. So a car goes by, they see the car, but no bodies.
Mm-hmm.
And then a little bit later, the car's still there, but the bodies are outside the car.
Correct.
Okay, I see.
When police arrived to the scene, Betty Lou Jensen was found dead with 5 bullet wounds to her back. David was found next to the car with a bullet wound to the head, but still breathing.
She took 5 to the back and died, and he took 1 to the head and is still alive?
Unfortunately, he would succumb to his injuries just
Oh,
minutes
well,
later.
fuck. Never mind. But the fact that we are back to the gun,
mm-hmm.
which again makes me feel like Joe was an outlier. Cherry Joe was an outlier and not something to do with this. Because it's weird that you would go gun, knife, gun.
We'll see.
Okay.
This next case we're going to talk about is in Vallejo, July 4th, 1969. Darlene Farron was a 22-year-old wife, mother, and well-known waitress in the area. On the night of July 4th, she picked up her friend Michael Magoo, or I don't know.
Cool.
Sorry. And stopped in the parking lot of Blue Rock Springs Park. A vehicle pulled into the lot around midnight, left, and returned a few minutes later. The driver got out of the car, shined a bright light at the pair, and fired a handgun.
Oh, no.
Mm-hmm. Michael was shot in the jaw, shoulder, and leg, but would survive to recant this to the police.
I mean, like, thank God, but still, back to the gun again.
Yeah. Darlene was shot several times and unfortunately died on arrival at the hospital.
Ugh. But now we're changing the MO of people because these are older people.
Yeah,
and the last ones
older.
have all been like late teens.
However, you'll also notice that a lot of the victims that we know are for sure the Zodiac are couples.
Yeah, I was noticing, which again is another reason why Cherry Joe might be either maybe like a copycat even, or just not related to the Zodiac at all and is just getting mislumped in.
Yeah, so I don't know. There's a lot of outliers, I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
So we'll get into that though, okay? At 12:40 the same night, a man called the Vallejo Police Department claiming responsibility for the shooting as well as the murders on Lake Herman Road. This call would later be traced to a gas station payphone. According to the dispatcher, the caller spoke in a monotonous tone saying, "I want to report a murder. If you will go 1 mile east on Columbus Parkway, you will find kids in a brown car. They were shot with a 9mm Luger. I also killed those kids last year. Goodbye.
So he did think that they were kids.
Yeah.
Interesting. And the fact that he knew, which I'm assuming the police didn't release the type of gun that it was shot with because it was so specific.
Correct.
So the fact that he gave that information is damning.
Yeah. And see, at the same time, like, we don't know exactly the killer's age because we don't know who it is.
Yeah.
So...
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler alert. So there are theories that the killer was older, in his 40s, 50s.
And just like a lover scorned?
No, that he was punishing his parents. That he was like out of a one-night stand or something like that, or even an essay, and on a lover's lane or like in a car type thing.
But what a weird way to be like, this is how I'll get revenge for it.
Yeah. Well, because like psychologists think that he like regrets ever being born or stuff like that. Like he's upset about that, but like can't take his own life.
How odd. Okay.
Yeah, so like that's one theory, and then another is that someone rejected him and he's about that age as well, like in his early 20s maybe.
I could see the rejection happening. I could also see him being older and having had that experience where he was shot down at a lover's lane type thing or something along those lines and had just been holding on to that for so long.
Yeah. I don't know. There's a lot of theories out there. If y'all got any, let us know.
Tell me all your Zodiac theories. I want to hear them all.
Now, there were a series of letters sent after the case to several newspapers. The Vallejo Times Herald, the San Francisco Chronicle, and the San Francisco Examiner. They all received letters postmarked July 31st, 1969. These letters claimed responsibility for the Christmas and 4th of July murder, along with the cipher that was demanded to be published by Friday, August 1st. The writer threatened to kill again if the cipher was not published. The writer also included the words, "I like killing people because it's so much fun."
There's so much to unpack there. Okay, first of all,
yeah,
he's like, the next fucking day, bitches, it better be out.
Yeah.
Ready to go.
Yeah.
Second of all, what a weird little game you're playing that you're like, I'm gonna make this cipher and I'm gonna make people decipher it. Like, okay.
Yeah.
And it's very reminiscent, at least to me at least, of the Jack the Ripper Dear Boss letters. Mm-hmm. Just very antagonistic and like, look at me, look at me.
Oh yeah. Or even the BTK killer.
Yeah.
Did the same thing. Wanted the look at me, look at me.
You mean Dennis?
Dennis. Yes, Dennis Rader.
Dennis. Fucking Dennis.
Trust me, you can get on your soapbox in a little bit, okay? We're gonna get there.
I can't wait to talk about Dennis.
A 3-page letter was received by the Examiner on August 4th, 1969, in response to police asking for information to prove the writer of the letters actually committed the crime. This is the first time the name the Zodiac was used. So he named himself.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, see, I told you can get on your soapbox.
That was me pulling out my soapbox. I fucking hate. First of all, in general, I just hate giving nicknames to serial killers. They're not fucking baseball players. We're not creating cards for them. We don't need to give them cool nicknames. Just call them by their names and call them pieces of shit like they are. Second of all, it's worse when they name themselves.
Yep.
Like, I'm not going to tell you to call me just the coolest.
That was the best you could come up with.
So, It's late. I'm tired. But why does he get to decide on a name? And we're like, you know what? He's murdering people. We should probably just call him that. No. I understand a little bit more with this one because we don't know who he is. But people like Dennis, who gives himself the nickname BTK, we don't need to call him that. We know what his name is. It's fucking Dennis. The same with Richard Ramirez. He's not the Night Stalker. He is Richard Ramirez.
Or the Milwaukee Cannibal.
We need to stop giving them these fun nicknames and making them think that they are some sort of heroes in their own heads because they lack empathy. Don't give them nicknames. Just call them by their fucking names. The only exception are ones like this where we don't know who the fuck they are, and then we can just call them that piece of shit murderer. We don't need to give them a fun little goofy name. Psh, that was me putting my soapbox away. I'm done this time.
You good?
I'll take it back out when we talk about Dennis. I'm sure I'll pull it out for every serial killer.
Oh yeah, you already will. I know you will. Yeah. I already knew it was coming, so.
Yeah. Can't fucking stand it. Drives me insane. This is the one exception, though. This one's okay. It's not okay, but it's understandable.
All right, you good?
I'm good now.
We're ready
It's not. I'm
keep
still
going?
mad about it, but it's fine.
We ready to keep going?
Yes.
All right. So the next murder happens at Lake Beressa. I think that's how you say
Like
it.
Beressa?
Beressa? I don't know.
Okay.
On September 27th, 1969, college students Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard were relaxing along the shore of Lake Beressa when a man holding a gun and a hooded costume with a white cross circle stitched over the chest appeared.
Oh, so now we're getting fucking theatrical. Okay.
The man explained he escaped from prison and needed money and a car to escape to Mexico.
Yes, clearly that outfit screams, I just escaped from prison. What, and then you robbed a theater troupe? What's going on with the outfit, buddy?
He proceeded to bind their wrists with pre-cut lengths of plastic clothesline. So this was premeditated.
100%.
Yeah. Without...
Oh no, I just broke out of prison. Why do you have pre-cut rope there, buddy? I'm just a Boy Scout. I like to be prepared for everything.
Oh, God. It's late. Without warning, he stabbed Brian in the back with a large knife 6 times. Cecilia was then stabbed 10 times as she fought for her life. The man then walked to Brian's car, used a pen to draw a cross circle on the door with the dates and locations of the previous attack, the date, the time, and the notation, by knife.
This one is so weird too, though, because it's the first one where we're getting the
symbol.
Well, that and him talking to them, because even the other one, when they were in the car and got shot and the guy survived,
Yeah.
nothing was mentioned about him coming up and talking to them. It was just came up and shot them.
Yeah.
So this amount of interaction is odd to me.
Yeah. At 7:40 p.m., a man called Napa police reporting a double murder, describing Brian's car, the crime scene, and confessed, quote, "I am the one who did it," end quote. The call was traced to a payphone at a car wash in Napa. Cecilia died 2 days after the attack. However, Brian did survive.
Oh, good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, not good that she died, but, like, good that at least someone survived.
Yeah, so they were able to give, like, a little bit of information. But...
as much as they can, yeah. At least
Exactly.
something to kind of go on, as opposed to all these other ones who are passing away as soon as it happens.
Yeah. Next, we are in San Francisco on October 11th, 1969. 28-year-old Paul Stein, a student and husband, worked as a cab driver. Stein had picked up a fare heading for the upscale Presidio Heights neighborhood?
Presidio.
Okay, great. At the intersection of Washington and Cherry Street, Stein was shot in the head by the passenger. A piece of the victim's shirt was removed. The killer walked away just before police arrived. However, the police broadcast mistakenly described the suspect as a black man. The killer was able to pass officers due to this mistake.
How do you fuck that up?
They think what ended up happening, or I think was later said in like letters, was that he was wearing a mask. Because remember, he was wearing that hooded thing the last murder.
Okay.
So I think he ended up putting on the same thing as he was like walking away and then finally took it off.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
But how...
Like, in my mind.
I get that. But again, now this one is different because it's just a man by himself. At least, except for Cherry Joe, all of the other ones have been couples.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, there's a lot of outliers, but it seems... You'll see why it is thrown in with the Zodiac.
Okay.
Fingerprints were found on the driver's side of the cab, which may have belonged to the killer, and a sketch was made by details given by nearby witnesses. The case was considered a routine robbery until the San Francisco Chronicle received an envelope with the letter from the Zodiac.
Oh, this boy, he just loves to let everyone know, hey, baby, it's me. It's Britney, bitches.
I don't know what just came to mind, but it's something that I'm just like...
I don't know what it is, but it's certainly something.
It's like a cross between the Emperor's New Groove, where it says Cusco baby.
Boom, bitches.
But then at the same time, it's like...
Boom, it's Britney, bitches.
No, it's like,
okay.
I'm back or something like that. I don't know. I'm getting... My mind is becoming fuzzy right now.
It's the
autism.
Britney.
The letter began, I am the murderer of the taxi driver. The envelope contained a bloodstained piece of the victim's shirt that had been removed.
Oh, that's the other thing I was going to say. So it makes sense that he sent it in. I thought he was taking it as a trophy.
No, he took it for proof.
Which, yeah. This boy just loves proof.
Yeah.
He is giving item after item of unreleased information and things that only the killer would know. He wants everyone to know, hey, it's me.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm not going to let you know who me is.
Mm-hmm. Yup. The Zodiac denied he left fingerprints and claimed the police sketch was inaccurate because he had worn a disguise. The letter mocked police for failing to apprehend the killer and threatened to shoot children on a school bus.
Yuckas.
Stop saying that word. Stop it.
What a random route to take, though.
Yeah, in a lot of his letters, he would threaten a lot of different things, a lot of different people, so... Children on a school bus was apparently one as well.
Don't love that.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't love any of this, but especially don't love that.
It's a big ick.
At one point, we'll have to cover the school bus kidnapping that happened in Chowchilla. That'll be a good case.
Ooh.
But when you said that, that's kind of what it reminded me of.
On November 8th, 1969, the Chronicle received another letter which contained another piece of the cab driver's shirt. A humorous greeting card was also included along with a cipher consisting of 340 symbols.
This boy loves a cipher.
Yep.
He is a puzzler boy.
The writer include Des, D-E-S, July, August, September, October equals 7. People believe this is a reference to more unidentified victims.
Don't love that.
A 7-page letter to the Chronicle was later postmarked on November 9th, 1969. This is the longest correspondence from the Zodiac, claiming police stopped him near a crime scene, but let him go.
Jesus.
He also He also included a bomb recipe and a diagram of the explosive.
No, he has so many things going on. Many things.
Oh, yeah. On October 20th, 1969, a letter was postmarked to a famous attorney by the name of Melvin Belli, or Belly. I don't know how you say it. The writer stated he feared he would kill again and asked Melvin to intervene. The letter ended with, quote, "Please help me. I cannot remain in control much longer."
Well, it sounds like you're not in control now. You've already murdered several people, Boyle.
Yeah. So...
Which, isn't that a thing with serial killers? They say the more times that they write in and call into police, it's because secretly deep down...
They're asking for help?
No, yeah, because they want to be caught.
Yeah.
At some point of them... Some part of them wants that recognition of the kill that they get with being caught.
Oh, yeah.
And then their deep, deep down subconscious wants an end to the killing. Because so many serial killers have said, I don't know why I kill. It's just something that they physically have to do.
Yeah. It's, I mean, lack of a better term, like a compulsive...
Yeah, I was going to say like a complex almost. And a lot of times
Not
they can push it.
Excusing anything.
No, it's just sometimes you have to understand the mind of how it works.
Yeah.
To then figure out why it's happening in the first place.
Yeah. So the next case we're going to is actually in the Modesto area on March 22nd, 1970. 22-year-old Kathleen Johns packed up her infant daughter into her station wagon and left San Bernardino to visit her sick mother in Petaluma. Right? That's how you say it?
Yeah, Petaluma.
Okay, great. Kathleen was also 7 months pregnant.
Oh, jeez.
Mm-hmm. She was traveling down Highway 132 when another vehicle pulled alongside her car and signaled to her to pull over. On the side of the road, the driver of the other car explained that the back wheel of Kathleen's station wagon was loose, but promised to remedy the problem.
And this is a time where you just, if somebody told you to pull over, you would just trust them because why not?
Yeah, today I would not do that.
No, I'd be like, fuck you, it's fine.
I'd be like, I'm going to call police, something like, I don't know.
I'm not going to pull over on a highway. Which I've been on that highway. There's depending on where you are, but for the most part, there's nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. So she trusted him, you know? It was just that time, that period. It was just that time period that you could trust a random stranger.
We all just left our doors unlocked. It's like,
wild.
No, Barbara, don't do that.
Instead of fixing and tightening the tire, he loosened the lug nuts and the wheel fell off as soon as Kathleen tried to drive away. The man offered to drive Kathleen to a gas station, but as she climbed into his car, she realized that he had another agenda. Kathleen claims he made veiled threats to harm her child, and eventually she grabbed her daughter and jumped from the car.
Oh, thank God.
A passing car took Kathleen to a nearby police station where she identified the stranger from a police sketch of the Zodiac.
Which, again, thank God somebody just happened to be driving and saw her, and she had the forethought of, I'm not going to see where this goes any farther.
Yeah. I think that was just like mother's instinct to protect her child.
Especially if she's pregnant. Like,
yeah. Yeah, for sure. Months later, the Zodiac would mention in a letter about a, quote, rather interesting ride with a woman and her baby.
No. No.
On April 20th, 1970, the Chronicle received a letter including a 13-symbol cipher and a diagram of a bomb designed to kill children on the school bus.
So specific. What is up with the children in school bus thing?
However, in this letter, the Zodiac denied responsibility for a recent police station bombing that killed an officer.
But baby, you love bombs. You have this thing for any way you can kill people, you're into.
However, if you look at the history, there is no bombing connected to the Zodiac.
Which is so weird. This was just his little hobby that he had, was bombs.
I think it's just to kind of like terrorize people.
And there's a bit of a shock factor to that also. If you're trying to get people to publish what you're saying and do what you're saying,
yeah,
threaten the children. I'm not condoning it.
Correct.
I'm just saying, if you're trying to get somebody's attention, the way to do that is to threaten children.
Yeah. The Chronicle then received a greeting card postmarked on April 28th, 1970. Inside, the Zodiac demanded publication of his bomb threats, insisting people of the San Francisco Bay Area wear Zodiac buttons featuring his crossed circle symbol.
Okay, now we've gone too far. You don't need merch. He doesn't need his own merch. What do you mean? This is almost as bad as the Axeman being like, I won't kill people if you're listening to jazz. What? Everyone buy my merch or I'm going to kill children on a school bus? No. What? Who's going to make these buttons? Who's going to distribute them? I have so many questions on the logistics of this.
Those were my questions as well.
I like to think he sent this letter and then the next day he sent just a big box of buttons that he made himself. As promised. Per request. Sell them for $1 each.
Fuck. Ooh. A letter postmarked June 26, 1970 to the Chronicle included a map of the San Francisco Bay Area with a cross circle at the peak of Mount Diablo and a code to locate a bomb. The writer also claimed another murder.
Oh my goodness. We're all about bombs and claiming murders.
July 24th, 1970, a letter was postmarked to the Chronicle where the Zodiac complained people weren't wearing his Zodiac buttons and claimed he was responsible for the quote-unquote failed abduction of pregnant mother Kathleen Johns on March 22nd, 1970.
Why is no one wearing my merch? Excuse me. I've been walking around the streets here and I happen to notice no one's wearing my snazzy little buttons that I sent you in the mail. Why not? Like, was he expecting people to make their own buttons?
I think so. I wouldn't even know where to start.
The arrogance to just be like, make your own. Okay, I mean, okay.
A 5-page letter was sent to the Chronicle postmarked July 26, 1970. The Zodiac described torturing his victims and quoting the Gilbert and Sullivan musical, The Mikado. The letter also explained the Mount Diablo code concerned geometric angles known as radians.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know what crack this dude was smoking, to be quite honest.
He's all over the place.
Yeah.
It's a lot. There is so much going on here.
Yeah. Anywho. We are now in Lake Tahoe, September 6, 1970.
So we're kind of out of the way now because a lot of this was in the Bay and Tahoe's a bit of a drive.
Oh, you'll see why.
Okay.
Okay. A postcard was attributed to the Zodiac featuring an advertisement for a condo project in Lake Tahoe. The phrases, quote, past Lake Tahoe areas and, quote, sought victim 12 were written.
No, thank you. He says,
What?
la, 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 la. I had too much spit in my mouth.
Those weren't even words.
He's just taking a little vacay. He's like, let's get some R&R and go kill some people in other places.
You'll see. Some interpreted this as a cryptic message as a clue to the disappearance of 25-year-old Donna Lass. In May of 1970, Donna worked in San Francisco at Letterman General Hospital, located on the Presidio military base?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Near the area the Zodiac killed the cab driver. Donna moved to South Lake Tahoe and found work as a nurse for the Sahara Hotel and Casino. On September 6, 1970, Donna vanished sometime after the last entry in her work logbook at 1:50 a.m. Her car was later found abandoned near her apartment. According to some witnesses, an unidentified man called Donna's employer and her landlord, claiming she had to leave town due to a family emergency.
How weird that she is a transplant from the area that the Zodiac has already been known to kill at, and then gone to a different area. Like, he sought her out specifically, almost.
Oh yeah, I'm 100% convinced he stalked her.
That just feels odd to me because all the other ones have seemed like opportunity.
You'd think, right? Like
a lover's lane, in a parking lot. This one just seems, maybe except for the cab driver and Cherry Joe, who may or may not be involved, but this one seems very deliberate of, hey, I know where you're from because I've been watching you and I have followed you.
yeah. I don't know. That's just what it seems to me. That's how it feels to me. Donna's family told police there never was a family emergency. It's suspected Donna had been abducted and killed, but her body was never found.
Oh no, Donna.
A suspected Zodiac postcard was postmarked October 5th, 1970, with a message constructed out of text clipped from other sources. The message created was, quote, the pace isn't any slower. In fact, it's just one big. Clipped from the comic strip Smidgens.
Don't care for that, but okay.
On October 27th, 1970, a Halloween card was sent to Chronicle reporter Paul Avery. The writer misspelled Avery's name and added the number 4 with teen, possibly referencing to an unidentified 14th victim.
I don't like that he keeps subtly saying how many people he has killed and these weird little games that he is playing.
Oh, just wait.
Oh no.
A letter addressed to the LA Times, postmarked March 13th, 1971, suggested the Zodiac was responsible for the unsolved murder of Cherry Joe Bates near Riverside Community College, that's what it is, on October 30th, 1966.
So they're only saying it because he technically claimed it? It just still feels so weird and like he is just wanting to claim things to claim things.
Apparently he had like some information from murder. From that murder that was not released to the public.
Weird.
Yeah.
It just because it has such a different vibe than everything else.
Well, I mean, so did the cab driver.
But even that has the gun. We kind of think it had the mask with it, like it did on the kids.
Yeah.
Which all has a tie-in, but to go from shooting 2 kids at what could be an opportunity to then stabbing and slitting a woman's throat who you may or may not have been stalking to make sure she was on her own just feels like two very different things to me. It again feels like two different people.
Yeah. Another postcard addressed to Avery, postmarked on March 22nd, 1971, included the words, "Sought Victim 12," interpreted as a reference to the Donna Lass disappearance in Lake Tahoe. There was a long break from the murders, disappearances, and correspondence from the Zodiac. Police and media suggested the killer went dormant either because he was dead or in the hospital or possibly jailed.
Tracks.
The investigation was sent to Albany, New York, looking for new leads when the Albany Times-Union newspaper received an envelope postmarked August 1st, 1973. There was a cross circle drawn in the corner instead of a return address.
No. How many times did he murder to blow up a bus this time?
This is mostly written in all caps, mind you. The letter read, "You are wrong. I am not dead or in the hospital. I am alive and well, and I'm going to start killing again. Below is the name and location of my next victim, but you had better hurry because I'm going to kill her August 10th at 5 p.m. when the shift change. Albany is a nice town."
So again, playing into the idea that these are premeditated murders. At least some of them.
Yeah. Below the message was 3 rows of symbols. According to the FBI, the deciphered message read, "Albany Medical Center. This is only the beginning." Police were unable to identify any murders that could explain the vague reference to a victim on August 10th. A letter to the Chronicle postmarked January 29th, 1974, alluded to a possible suicide and another quote from the Mikado. There is also a notation, "Me, 37, SFPD, 0." Indicating a box score of 37 victims. To this day, the Zodiac Killer has yet to be identified or arrested for the crimes he committed. In 2020, more than 50 years later, amateur codebreakers were able to solve one of the Zodiac's last ciphers that had yet to be cracked. The decoded message read, "I hope you are having lots of fun in trying to catch me. That wasn't me on the TV show, which brings up a good point about me. I am not afraid of the gas chamber because it will send me to paradise all the sooner because I now have enough slaves to work for me where everyone else has nothing when they reach paradise, so they are afraid of death. I am not afraid because I know that my new life will be an easy one in paradise death."
That's so odd. So he's thinking that all these people he's killing are now going to be
his slaves in paradise, yes.
So then going back to what I said earlier, he wants to be caught.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
There are many theories as to who the Zodiac was, but there has never been tangible proof, and many crimes that may or may not have been linked to the Zodiac. Unfortunately, this killer has inspired at least 3 copycats and many other crimes. And that is the story of the Zodiac Killer.
That's crazy. I am 100% convinced that it's 2 different people.
And see, so there are also a lot of documentaries and docuseries and stuff like that about this, and one of them is the theory that it was multiple killers.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Under the Zodiac, because I don't think he'd say killer. I think he'd always just say the Zodiac.
The Zodiac.
This is the Zodiac speaking. And so I can believe that theory that it was multiple killers. Because I also have the theory that that's the same with the son of Sam.
I wouldn't be surprised.
There's a documentary called The Son of Sam's, or The Sons of Sam, to where it kind of like shows in theory that he wasn't working alone.
No, and there's no way that he could have been. But for this, I say that it's at least 2 killers.
Yeah.
Just because we see 2 very clear groups of victims.
Yeah.
We are seeing
2 MOs also.
Yeah, we're seeing opportunistic killings of couples, of young couples at lovers' lane or secluded areas who are then shot. And then we are seeing individuals, male or female, doesn't matter, clearly, because we have the taxi
Specifically
drivers, but specifically stalked, targeted, and then killed from there.
Yep. It's a lot.
It's so weird. And that might be why he was never caught, because it is so sporadic, as opposed to Gacy. It's very clear what his target demographic was, or Dahmer. You could see the pattern of, all these people have the same characteristics, same sort of background.
Yeah.
These are seemingly at random between, is it couples, is it individuals, is it opportunistic? It's so many different things at once.
Yeah, so there's a lot of theories out there. There's a lot of docuseries, documentaries, books. I definitely want to read a couple more of the ones that I found while doing the research and watch a couple more of those, just to see everybody else's theories. There have been people who claim that their family member or someone that they knew, like, claimed before they died that they were the Zodiac Killer, all this stuff. But, I mean, obviously we'll never know unless the person or persons actually come forward, if they're even still alive.
Or we can figure out the DNA.
Yeah, or that. But yeah, so that's the Zodiac.
That was cray cray.
Are you ready?
No, but you're gonna tell me anyway. Ba-do-bo.
Yes, I am. So, there was this chicken.
Okay, we're starting off unusually, but sure, go on.
Its name was Mike.
Mike the chicken.
Mike the chicken.
Aw, I love when animals have human names or food names. They're my 2 favorites.
It was a headless chicken that was alive for 18 months after being decapitated.
Blink, 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 blink.
You know how it ate? They would feed it through the esophagus on top.
Oh God, sorry. I just threw up in my mouth a little bit.
Yeah.
But for why? Just for funsies?
I don't know.
Just to see if they could?
I think they might have felt guilty of the fact that, like, it didn't die right away. Because, I mean, I don't know if you've
So
ever...
you let it live for 18 fucking months? Are you shitting me?
I don't know. Have you ever seen a chicken get decapitated?
No, and I never want to. I want chickens. And I have let my partner know that I want chickens. I will not be doing anything else other than collecting eggs and just pooping them on their little heads and caring for them.
Yeah, I've seen one, and it's wild when they run around without their heads.
No. It's making my tummy. I was just embodying my inner Moira Rose. It's making my tummy do all sorts of flips. No, thank you.
Stop.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's how they would feed it, is through the top. The esophagus on top.
Just why? Why?
I don't know.
Just take it out of its misery. It's what?
There's videos I can show you.
No, you don't need to do that. That's a hard pass. I've set a boundary. I allow you to do this bit. I don't need to see video evidence of it also.
Damn it.
Well, if you like whatever the fuck this is, be sure to head over to our Instagram, send us all the love. Remember when you were sending over those tomatoes to your neighbor to let them know about the podcast. And please, for the love of God, do not shove food down a chicken's neck hole to keep it alive for 18 months. Bye! Bye. Did you like that? Was that good for you?